Why is it that the gyms fill up in January and empty out in February? Why is it that over 90+% of the goals and dreams that people set for themselves go unrealized? Why is it so hard to bring positive, lasting change into our lives and into our experience? And what can we do about it? Well, learn the 7 levels of change, and you're going to have a much better shot.
Feeling Good with Noah Hammond-Terrell.
Hello, my friends. Noah Hammond-Terrell here, back with another video. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the 7 levels of change. Now, what this is a framework I designed after having spent over 13 years coaching clients to achieve goals of all types, whether they're health and fitness goals, business goals, relationship goals, spiritual awakening goals, all types of goals. And also, after all this time, 15 plus years of my own focused personal development, spiritual realization journey, this is a framework that I've seen, that I created from my experiences, and I think that it'll be incredibly valuable to you. So let's dive right into it. Cool. So we're looking at the 7 levels of change. And let's start by looking at what we are already super familiar with, which would be the actions, the habits, and the systems. Doing what it takes, right? So for the example of someone who wants to lose weight, the typical response would be, I'm going to go to the gym this often. I'm going to eat these things. I'm going to not eat these things. I'm going to do this much walking, this much running. I'm going to make sure my sleep is this good or this way. It's do, which is fine, except for the fact that over 90% of people who want to achieve anything in their life or make any kind of lasting change, they don't see the results stick. Why is that? Well, it's because there's these other 6 layers to our beingness and to what impacts our ability to succeed that go unaddressed. So let's keep going with the weight loss example, and let's run through all 7 of these pillars real quick. So starting at the bottom, your environment and your community, making sure it's optimized for support. Obviously, if I live in a house where my roommates eat McDonald's every night and the smell of chicken nuggies is thick in the air, it's going to be a lot harder to stick to my goal of losing weight, right? But if I live in a house where there's literally nothing in the cupboards or nothing in the fridge that isn't whole natural foods or things that are on my intended meal plan, obviously I'm going to have a better result if I optimize my environment and my community for support. This is key. This is critical, and it's the base of the pyramid, right? Second, energy and vitality. If we're going to make any change happen, we have to input energy into the system, right? There has to be the raw energy, the raw vitality to overcome the natural resistance that comes in our way when we have a goal or a desired change or effect. Anything that expands your peace, expands your happiness, expands your gratitude, expands your joy, makes you feel more alive is a beautiful thing, right? And as soon as you summon that desire into being, as soon as you start to embrace what you truly want, there is a natural phenomena called resistance, resistance is the best name for it. It's called resistance. It's equal and opposite reaction. You desired a positive, you summoned a positive force into the world. Well, guess what? Now there's an equal but opposite force of resistance that is here to try to interfere with and block your success, right? A lot of people will call this ego, but I don't know if it's exactly the right term. I would call it resistance, like Steven Pressfield likes to call it. And it's exactly what you think it is. It's the opposite of what you want, right? So in order to break through that sucker, we need energy. So at this layer, we're asking questions like, where is my energy caught up that I could free it up, right? This is a place where I for a lot of my clients, I recommend our CBD products because it takes inflammation out of the body. And now your body has less energy being wasted on fighting inflammation, and it can use that energy to go create your desired results. So this could be like social media addiction. This could be watching TV shows that fill you with fear instead of with joy. This could be a lot of places where your energy is being wasted, where if you reclaim that energy, you'd have it for yourself and you'd have it for what you truly want in life. And so it's worth thinking about. So that's the second layer. Third layer, actions, habits, systems. We're all very familiar with that. The only thing I'll say here is that a system is a great way to get a consistent result. So a system could be, say, okay, in my business, I email my list every single day, right? It's beyond an action, right? Because it's not just something I'm doing once. It's even beyond a habit, because a habit is something that I get accustomed to doing, but a system would be, okay, I email my list every day, my teammate sends it out, yada, yada, yada. It flows in a systematic way, right? And there can be systems that you can put in your life in all areas, not just in business. You can put systems in your life for the way you get dressed, the way you prepare for bed, the nighttime routine, all these different things, right? So we're gonna keep it light on actions, habits, and systems, because we all are very familiar with that. Now, the next level up, skills and strategy. This is about your mastery of approach. I like to say this is similar to the quote from Abraham Lincoln, where he said, if I had 4 hours to chop down a cherry tree, I'd spend the first 3 sharpening my axe. That is his strategy. That is his mastery of approach. And what that gets you is a much better result. I could go and hammer away at that tree for 4 hours with a dull axe, and maybe I'll chop it down. Or I could spend 3 hours meticulously sharpening the axe and guaranteed chop it down in 1 hour with less effort and more likelihood of success, right? So going back to our weight loss example, let's say you're going to go to the gym, you're going to do the running. Do you know how to run properly? Do you have the skills, right? Or if you're going to the gym, do you have the right strategy? Are you doing the right lifts, the right weights, the right ordering of those things for your body type, for the results that you want? This seems obvious to people in retrospect, but so often people approach things without a clear strategy or without a clear idea of, okay, these are the skills that I need and these ones I don't have. So these are things I have to go acquire skills in, and that will inform the strategy, and my mastery of approach will get me a much better result. Now, next up, the nervous system. Freedom from your past. This one is so key because I literally did not know about this. Even 10 years into my personal development journey, I hadn't figured this out, but it was absolutely something that was holding me back from having the life, the joy, the bliss, the peace, the expansion I wanted in my heart, in my soul, in my mind, in my body, and in my life, right? In the results in here and the results out there. Your nervous system is key because we essentially are floating nervous systems driving meat suits, right? You think of yourself as this whole body. You're definitely not the body. If we're going to be in the physical, at the very least, you're a nervous system. You're an eyeball, you're ear canals, you're a brain, you're a brain stem, you're a spinal canal, you're nerves, right? Everything that you experience is being experienced in your nervous system. So, and there's a famous book on this called The Body Keeps Score, and it talks about how our nervous system and every cell in our body literally has intelligence. In yoga, they call it the mental body, because it's not just your mind that has intelligence. You have a brain in your heart. You have a brain in your gut. There are literally neural networks there. And also every single cell in your body has intelligence and the potential and capacity for memory. So when we're in some sort of car accident, some sort of trauma, some sort of issue, we have some sort of experience in our life that is negative or difficult, our body makes a memory of that, and it uses it for survival purposes to guide us in different directions next time, or to try to save us from pain or move us towards pleasure. It's very basic. It's very primal, right? But this can so often get in the way of us achieving what we want to achieve, and it can so often be the reason why people are stuck in repeating patterns. So for example, if you want to lose that weight, but you were the fat kid in school and you got made fun of a lot for being the fat kid. Well, guess what? That is stored in your body. And when you go to the gym that first time, you might be having little thoughts like, oh, those fit people are looking at me and laughing, and they're, oh, I'm being judged. Oh, and guess what? Because of that experience that's stored in your body, you're going to be much less likely to continue with your plan, with your strategy, with your actions, with your habits. You're going to be much less likely to continue going. You're going to be much more likely to fall short of doing what you need to do to actually realize your goals. I'll give you another quick example. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out why my life felt like a fight. My business felt like a fight. I was always having to reinvent it and work harder and work like a crazy person. My relationships felt like a fight, like a struggle, like there was always something happening, something bubbling, something processing, right? And it wasn't until I learned about your nervous system, until how your body keeps score, that I start to realize the reason everything felt like a fight is because I had so much fight energy in my being. Right? I grew up in New Jersey, a guy trying to act tough, trying to be tough. Right? I played a lot of contact sports, played football all my life, and then rugby in college and martial arts after that. And between all of that and the trials and tribulations of life, I just had a lot of warrior fight energy in my body, which is great when you need to turn it on, but it's not great when it's acting subconsciously and constantly and not always in your favor. Right? So the nervous system and things that like tapping and EFT work can take energy out of the nervous system. We can get into that in another video, but just acknowledging that I might actually have something in my nervous system that's going to stop me from achieving what I want, being what I want, having what I want, doing what I want, expressing how I want. It's a huge part of it, a huge part of it, and it's to not be unaddressed. Now, the next layer up, your identity, your values, and your beliefs. Most people have heard of this kind of stuff, right? If you don't know who you are, then and if you don't understand how your subconscious mind is operating, it is running 95% of your life for you on autopilot. And a lot of the way that it's running your life are strategies and approaches that you designed as a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old. So it's so important to understand and know who I am, what I value, and what I believe. And I'll give you a very specific example of just how important this is, because what I always say is that belief precedes response. And I'll give you a clear example of this. So if I'm in the forest and a brown bear is charging at me, what will happen to my body is that adrenaline will release, cortisol will release, blood will rush to my fingers and my toes. My whole being will get ready to deal with an incoming life threat. Now, if all that changed about the situation was a belief, I believe that's not a brown bear charging me. That's my buddy in a bear suit and he's messing with me. Guess what? Just from that belief change alone, my response changes completely. And none of that stuff happens in my body. And it doesn't matter if it's a real bear. I could be wrong. I could believe it's not, have no response, and the thing gets to me and it eats me. So in that way, we prove and share that belief precedes response. Whatever we believe to be true informs how we respond to certain stimuli, certain actions. So no matter what it is you want to achieve, understanding what your belief system is going to inform how you operate. Going back to this gym example again, if I believe that working out's not necessary, how important am I going to make it in my day to go work out? Or if I believe that, or if I have the identity in this same layer that, oh, I'm the fat kid, well, guess what? The fat kid doesn't prioritize being fit and healthy. The fat kid just goes and eats his Doritos and sits in the couch and watches his TV. So when our identity and our beliefs and our values are aligned, both consciously and subconsciously, with what we want to have in our life, then we act accordingly and we do it much more automatically. It's not such a force. It's not so hard. Now, this last layer, your intuition, your purpose, it is by far, I think, the most important. And what it is, it's about connecting to that deep wisdom within you, that universal self, that cosmic consciousness, that God spark, that subtle voice, that intimate whisper, whatever you want to call it. It's the part of you that is connected to divine wisdom. It's the part of you that is beyond space and time. It's the part of you that is multidimensional. It's the part of you that has access to all past, present, and future. It's your wisdom. It's the seat of your soul, whatever you want to call it, that still voice inside you. And the reason this is so important, I think, especially for achieving or accomplishing goals and getting where you want to go in life, is that so often I feel people are chasing things that are not for them. And I'll give you a very direct example. Back in the day, this is a long time ago, but back in the day, I had a vision board, right? On my wall, pictures of things I wanted. And on there were girls. And the girls were like these porn star looking chicks, right? They were barely wearing any clothes. They had big fake breasts. Like they were just kind of giving that like slutty attitude, right? And that was my vision of what I wanted for my life. Flash forward just a few years later, and I have another vision board up on the wall. And on this vision board, the girl is in a white flowing dress, twirling in a field of yellow daisies. And she's so lighthearted and carefree and sweet and natural. And it's a totally different image, right? Why did my image of what I wanted as far as my partner change so dramatically? Well, as I removed societal programming and things that weren't true to my being, and as I got more true to myself and my deeper wisdom, the real truth came out of what I wanted, right? So often we're chasing things that society has put in our heads, our parents, our teachers, our friends, our community. Someone has painted the vision of this is what we should want. And we aren't trained very well in how to connect to that deeper wisdom within ourselves. So we sort of are on autopilot, going for what we think we want, even though it's not true to our being. So the better you are at living intentionally, as in connecting to your intuition and your purpose and your deeper being, the more accurate you are at sourcing all these other layers. Not only what do I want, but where am I blocked in getting it? All of those answers are within you. And then we can go and address it. So that's the 7 levels of change. And I promise you that if you approach either your goals and where you want to go, or your challenges and what you're attempting to overcome with these 7 levels in mind, I guarantee you'll have an easier time and a more successful time moving the direction you want to go and really coming to that place of harmony in your life where you feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I need nothing more than where I'm at. And everything around me is always growing, always expanding. Like there's a ripple of positivity around me and I'm feeling blissful within. That's what we're all really after, right? Instead of the pursuit of happiness, we should be living in happiness, in joy. And I think that these 7 layers are the way that you get there. You have to be congruent with yourself at all 7 of the layers, or you feel like something's off. You feel like you're not quite showing up in your life, or that life is not quite showing up for you, right? Which is really the projection of what's true on the inside. So to not get too far off topic, I hope that this video was inspiring. I hope that it gave you some clarity. Please comment below. Let me know how this might be helpful to you, what level you think you need the most work on, or what level you think is going to help you the most. I'd love to hear your comments. And as always, please like the video, subscribe, share it with someone you love. I'll be back again with another video real soon. Cheers.